Well, I can't spend time in communion without thinking about the generosity of God, of how good He is to us to give us life and a relationship with Him. And speaking of generosity, man, I've been around this church for about 30 years now, and one common thread that has run through all of those years is just the generosity of this place and of everyone who comes here. And that's probably no more evident than through the Dollar Club, which is something, if you're new around here, that we do every single week. When we collect our offering, we all throw in $1 extra. We call that the Dollar Club. We collect those dollars, and we go match them up with someone who has a tremendous need, and then we try to pay some of their expenses, some of their bills, work with their billing agencies to try to help kind of relieve some of the financial stress and also offer hope. And here recently we learned about a high school senior in our community whose father passed away about a year ago, and he's estranged from his mother, so he lives on his own, has a part-time job, and is going to school and trying to finish up school. So an amazing story of this young man, but he's struggling quite a bit right now financially. And man, when we heard about his story, we said, man, we can help. So we want to jump in. We're going to pay some of his living expenses for a while and also help to prepare him for the next phase of his life into his future after school. So thank you for giving to the Dollar Club. Not only did you help relieve some stress for him financially, but you also were able to kind of come alongside of him and offer him some hope and a relationship with Jesus. So thank you for giving to the Dollar Club. Well, coming up here in just a few weeks, April 21st is the biggest year or the biggest Sunday of our year, which is Easter. We all gear up for Easter Sunday. It's going to be a big time. Now, I don't know how you prepare for Easter. When I grew up at Indian Springs First Baptist Church in Pelham, Alabama, we prepared by getting new clothes and getting dressed up. This was me like in 1981, something like that. That was my duds. I kind of liked this look because I didn't have the tie. I was rocking the blazer and khakis look before that was something. Still hate ties to this day, but I'm not really sure what I was doing with my hair there. But I don't know how you prepare for Easter, whether it's new clothes or about who you're going to ask to come to church. But here's what we want you to do to prepare for Easter. We want you to know what time to come to church. That's going to be a really important thing. We're expecting record crowds this year because our attendance each year continues to go up, just normal Sundays. And this year for Easter, it's not colliding with spring break. It's a little later in the year, so we're expecting record numbers around this place. So we've added some service times. We'll have our normal 9:30, 9:40 up in Theater 81 and 11:15 right here. But we've got a Saturday night service at 5 o'clock. We're also adding a 1 o'clock service on Sunday afternoon, and we've opened up a few other venues. So we'll have an 11:25 up in Theater 81 and a 9:40, 11:25 down in the atrium. And all of those venues have like the regular band, worship team, the host, the whole deal. So it's a legit service, not just overflow. So we'd love for you to come any of those times. But if you've been to several Easters here at Southland, we'd love for you to consider maybe coming on Saturday at 5 or at that 1 o'clock service on Sunday afternoon to kind of free up some seats so that our guests will be coming in maybe for the first time or the first time in a long time. They'll have an easy time kind of making their way in. And maybe consider sitting in one of those alternate venues since you might sit in this room just about every Sunday. And then come back that afternoon. If you come to the 1 o'clock service, just hang around. But at 2:30, we're going to have our big baptism service out in the pond. So if you've been thinking about getting baptized, perfect time for you to do that, or just come out and celebrate with those who will. Now, today's a big day as well because we're continuing on with part 2 of this series we've been in called Shadows, where we're learning that everything in the Bible foreshadows the coming of Jesus. And speaking of foreshadowing, Scott Nichols, our teaching pastor, is going to be teaching today, and he's actually stuck in Miami today. He foreshadowed before he left on his trip that he might not be able to make some connections with the airlines. He didn't have a lot of trust in the airlines for some reason, and rightfully so. So he shot his message before he left. And so we're going to be watching our teacher teach today on video, just like our other campuses do every single week. So go ahead and open up your Bible or a note-taking app or Bible app, and let's get ready to study along with Scott as he teaches us today.